Imagine waking up in a golden bed, thinking you are the most powerful woman in the kingdom, only to find the king's own sisters standing over you with empty boxes. The palace of Ile-Ife has just witnessed a silent war that ended in a total cleanup. Aunty Igbi's bags were not just packed, they were dropped at the gate like common trash while she was still asking, "Who carried my bed?" This is the moment the crown finally vomited the lies that had been poisoning the palace. You need to stay with me until the very end, because the secret decree the king just signed is going to change the face of the Yoruba throne forever. Welcome to Crown Gist. If you are looking for the absolute truth and you haven't subscribed yet, you are honestly on a long thing. Hit that button and join the family now. Listen, my Crown Gist friends and families, let's set the record straight. We are not like those other bloggers who stumble and fumble over their words like they are reading in the dark. While some people are blundering and gibbering with we give it to you straight. My Crown Gist friends and families, they say that the sun does not rise in the palace until the king says it is morning. But today, the sun rose with a coldness that Aunty Igbi never saw coming. For months, there has been a heavy tension in the air. The fake pregnancy scandal had already weakened the pillars of her stay, but today was the day the roof finally collapsed on her head. The morning didn't start with the usual royal music or the laughter of the palace staff. No, it started with sounds, footsteps, heavy purposeful footsteps of the king's own sisters. They didn't come to visit, they didn't come to share breakfast, they came with boxes. Can you picture it? Aunty Igbi was still in her room, perhaps thinking of her next move or how to spin her story on social media, when the door swung open. The palace women, the ones who truly hold the keys to the inner chambers, they didn't wait for permission. Without a single insult, without a single shout, they began to pack. This is the part that is sending shockwaves through social media. They didn't just pack her clothes, they neatly folded her history out of the palace. Every lace, every piece of jewelry, every Bilioria accessory she had acquired was placed into bags and moved. The instruction from the king was simple: clear the space for peace to return. My Crown Gist friends and families, the confusion that gripped Aunty Igbi in that moment was blooming massive. Witnesses say she was walking around in circles, her eyes wide with shock. She was asking the women, "What did I do? Who gave you the right to carry my bags?" But nobody answered her. In the palace, when the king speaks, the time for explanation is over. The most dramatic moment was when she realized her bed was gone. Imagine that. She left the room for a moment, and by the time she came back, the very bed she had been sleeping on, the one that she thought made her an Olori, was carried out by the palace messengers and dropped at the altar gate. She was standing in an empty room, a room that had once felt like a fortress, but now felt like a prison of her own making. This wasn't just an eviction, it was a total erasion. The palace women were acting like they were cleaning out a plague. They were scrubbing the floors behind her, symbolic of rinsing away the deceit she had brought into the house of Oduduwa. Nigerians in the comment sections are shouting, "Aunty, how markets?" because the door has not just been closed, it has been bolted from the inside. Her credibility has been blown into pieces. She thought she was too big to be moved. She thought her connection with Iyala Oduduwa would protect her forever. But as we told you before, when you bring anti-infested firewood into the house, you shouldn't be surprised when the lizards start moving in. Today, those lizards have been swept out, and Aunty Igbi is standing by the gate looking at her bags, wondering how she went from her royal hisik to the woman at the gate in just one morning. And while this chaos was happening, where was Queen Naomi? My Crown Gist friends and families, reports say the queen was a picture of absolute calm. She didn't step out to watch the drama. She didn't post any "I told you so" messages on Instagram. She stayed in her space, indifferent and unmoved. They say a woman who has survived the storm does not need to clap when the thunder hits her enemies. Her silence is the most powerful weapon in the palace right now. The air in Ebira land is currently filled with the smoke of a burnt reputation. If you thought the fake pregnancy was the end of the script, then you don't know that the ancestors have just picked up their pens to write the final chapter. The drama has moved from the palace inner rooms to the public square, and let me tell you, everything is turning to ashes. We have just gathered that the king's father, a man who moves with the weight of ancient spirits, has finally stepped out. He didn't come to share kola nuts. He came to find the person who brought a snake into the king's bedroom. In a closed-door meeting that had the palace elder sweating, he raised his sacred staff and pointed it directly at Iyalaje Odua. He accused her of using her influence to push Aunty Igbi into the palace, ignoring every traditional warning just for her own personal glory. "You brought poison into the sauce," he reportedly said, his voice shaking with a dangerous kind of calm. He declared that any hand that helped to plant this chaos will never find rest until the damage is fixed. My crown gives friends and families, the shining star of the palace influencers has been dimmed. Iyalaje Odua, who used to walk like she owned the palace keys, is now facing a spiritual heat that is burning her connections to ashes. But the heat didn't stop at the palace gate. It traveled all the way to Ebiraman. You see, when the Ooni returns a bride price, it is not just money, it is a spiritual rejection. Aunty Igbi's family, who are acting like billionaires just last week, have suddenly found their pride turned to ashes. They realize that no man in the entire community will ever look at their daughters again if they carry the rejection stamp of the king. In a move that shocked everyone, the family elders came out publicly to apologize. They were on their knees, begging the throne to forgive the embarrassment. But here is the part that will make your head spin. They are apologizing, yet they are still refusing to touch that money. The spokesperson said, "We were blind, we were proud, and we were misled by the lies of our daughter. But the money the king has returned is a fire we cannot carry into our house." They are essentially saying that Aunty Igbi is now a woman without a home. Her family is rejecting the rejection. My crown gives friends and families. Imagine the pain of the innocent niece, the girl whose wedding was ruined because of her aunt's greed. While the family is busy begging the king, this girl is sitting in the middle of a broken home, watching her future turn to ashes. Her mother is reportedly wailing day and night, cursing the day Aunty Igbi decided to play kingmaker with the crown. And what about Queen Naomi? While her enemies are busy burning in the fire they started, she is staying completely indifferent. Reports say she hasn't even stepped out of her private chambers. She is the picture of a woman who knows that you don't need to fight a fire that is already consuming itself. The elders are now looking at her with a new kind of respect, realizing that while Aunty Igbi brought poison, Naomi brought peace. As we speak, the cleansing of the palace has started. Every gift, every asset, and every title associated with the Iyalaje influence is being put under review. The king is not just clearing the rooms, he is clearing the bloodline. The message is loud and clear. You can play with many things, but you cannot play with the crown of Ododowa and expect to walk away whole. If you think the heat in the palace was bad, you need to see what is happening in the dusty streets of Ebiraland. You see, news travels faster than a Hamatan fire, and by the time the king's messengers were leaving, the whole village already knew that Aunty Igbi had been refunded. In a traditional setting, when a king returns a bride price, it is like he has placed a spiritual mark on that family. As we speak, reports are coming in that a secret village meeting was held at midnight. The elders of the community are not smiling at all. They are saying that Aunty Igbi's greed has brought a curse that is turning their peaceful reputation into ashes. They are worried that no honorable man will ever come to their village to marry again if they distance themselves from her. The most heartbreaking part, Aunty Igbi's own sister, the mother of the girl whose wedding was ruined, has reportedly reached her breaking point. Witnesses say she confronted Aunty Igbi in a heated shouting match that shook the compound. She screamed, "You wanted to be a billionaire queen, but you have turned my daughter's future into ashes. You used our name to play a game with the king, and now it is us that are paying the price." My crown's friends and families, it was a total ashes moment. The sister has allegedly told Aunty Igbi to pack whatever is left of her pride and leave the family house. She doesn't want to see her. The villagerhooders have also issued a stern warning. If Aunty Igbi does not perform a public cleansing and confess her lies, she will officially be banished. They want her out before the bad luck spreads to the other young girls in the family. Meanwhile, back in the palace, the cleansing is going deeper. It's not just about clothes and bags anymore. The king's father has reportedly ordered that the specific rooms where Aunty Igbi stays should be locked and spiritually purified. They want every memory of her fake pregnancy scripts to be burnt to ashes. Even the Sabbaths, who are allegedly helping her to hide her secret, have been fired. The palace is being scrubbed clean, and the message is clear. The throne of Odotua is not a playground for scammers.
The sun has officially set on Aunty Igbi, and what is left is the cold hard reality of a woman who thought she was smarter than the ancestors. But as the king's final decree was read out today, the last piece of her influence was turned to ashes. The king's father stood before the elders one last time. He raised his staff and declared that the name of Aunty Igbi and anyone associated with her poison should be erased from the palace records. He stated that the crown has no business with deceit. He then turned his attention to Aya Alaje Odwa. Reports say her titles have been suspended indefinitely while they investigate the full extent of her involvement. Her power, her glory, and her Alaji status in the palace have all been burnt to ashes. But wait, there is a twist that nobody saw coming. My crown gist friends and families, while everyone was expecting Queen Naomi to laugh and celebrate the fall of her enemy, she did something that shocked the kingdom. Sources tell us that Queen Naomi sent a private message to the innocent niece, the girl whose wedding was ruined. She didn't send an insult, she didn't send shade. She reportedly sent a word of comfort, telling the girl that her life is not over just because her aunt made a mistake. She reminded her that her own crown is waiting for her in the right place. This is why they call her the Queen of Hearts. While Aunty Igbi was busy building walls of lies that turned to ashes, Queen Naomi was building bridges of grace. As we wrap up this massive update, the image of Aunty Igbi standing by her bags at the gates is what everyone is talking about. She had the world at her feet, but she wanted the throne by force. Now she has neither. Her billionaire dreams, her royal status, and her family's respect have all turned to ashes. My crown gist friends and families, this is the end of the road for this particular script. The palace is at peace, Queen Naomi is vindicated, and the scammers have been sent packing. What do we think about the queen's gesture? Was she too kind, or is this why she is the chosen one? And for Aunty Igbi, do you think she can ever recover from these ashes of a reputation? Please remember, my crown gist friends and families, that all the information and details we have shared throughout these 4 parts are based on trending social media rumors and alleged reports circulating online. None of this should be taken as confirmed fact or official palace news yet, as they are strictly social media rumors and gists.